So to start off, I'm just going to show you our Ganache server, our Ganache test server that's running with the dummy accounts that we've created. So we have this first address, which is going to be the address for our AI researcher. And you have the rest of the addresses which we're going to be using as user 1, user 2, user 3, and so on. So a user is someone who submits data to the request created by the researcher. Okay, so to begin with, we're going to be looking at the researcher perspective and the researcher view when you're looking at this application. So what that means is, just like how we declared that this first address in our Ganache test addresses would be that of an AI researcher, when you log in with that, you're going to come to this landing home page that's called the researcher dashboard. So over here, you can look through your past request for data posts. And if you open them, okay, let's open this one. So this is the page you get when you open a request for data. Here's the name of the request and a unique ID that's been given to each and every one using the SHA-256 hasher function. So as you can see here, you have the address of the sender's credit score, and you have the opportunity to download your data or to pay the sender. We're going to go into detail of downloading data and paying the sender a little later, but right now I want to clarify what this credit score means. So basically, this entire platform has a really important foundation to it, which is a trust-based system. What that means is if user 1, that is 0xb98 ... if they submit good data to me, when I'm downloading the IPFS file, I can actually rate them on a scale of 1 to 5. If they've submitted bad data, I can rate them a 1 or a 0, and that's going to reduce their credit score. But if they submitted amazing data, I can of course rate them a 4 or a 5 and so on. So that means that their credit score actually goes up. This allows for users and senders to build credibility, and there's a higher chance of your data getting downloaded and you getting paid if you have a higher credit score, because then you're a more trusted source based on your past data, based on the ratings you've gotten from different researchers. So a similar process is followed for the AI researcher or the requester, which again we'll be seeing really soon. So yeah, this is how this aspect of this application works. Let's head on back to the researcher dashboard. Okay, so now we're going to move on to demonstrate how you can create a request for data in the first place. Okay, so as you can see, we're now at the create a request page where the researcher basically adds in information to put up the request for data. So the name of the request is going to be gridparity, type of AI model, binary image classifier, brief description of the data, so male and female, cartoons, illustrations, in Indian State Board, or NCERT textbooks. So the data type that we need is going to be images. The payout that we're going to provide is 0.01 ether. And you can upload a sample data which provides like an accurate depiction of what type of data you want. So, okay, here it is, and upload. And just click on create request. So once you do that, you're back at your researcher dashboard with a new request created, that of gridparity. So now we're going to be switching gears and looking at the user perspective and how the user submits data, gets a payment, and so on and so forth. Okay, so now we're at the user dashboard, where you are logged in as user 1, which is of course the second address that's on our Ganache server. As you can see, 0xb9 dot 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 and over here. So the user is going to be submitting data to the request for data created by the researcher. And we're going to demo that right now. So let's say we want to submit to grid parity, which is a request we just created from the researcher perspective. So it's gotten updated here and you can open it. Let's go ahead and do that. So once you do that, you'll get redirected to this page where that request for data and the specifications that it needs are given in detail. As you can see, we can see our sample image here, we can see the description of the data required, and so on and so forth. So I have data that can suffice this request, so I click on upload to IPFS. I find what I need. Okay, there's this image of a female cartoon illustrations taken from an Indian or NCERT textbook, which is pretty similar to the sample data. So I'm going to open that and submit it. And once you've done that, you'll see an immediate update to the file name and the file hash. So we did upload file.png, and the file hash is the IPFS hash where our file has been uploaded to IPFS. As you can see, we have a little IPFS daemon running in the backend, and in a few seconds we'll be redirected back to user dashboard. So yeah, now we're back to the user dashboard with our data successfully submitted to the grid parity post. So now what we're going to do is we're going to explore submitted data, which is where we can see the past data that we've submitted to different requests. We can send a reminder for payment. We can see if we've already received our payment, and we can look at our data again, so on and so forth. So let's just head on to submitted data. So this is the your submitted data page where you can look at the past data that you've submitted to different data requests. As you can see, we've submitted quite a bit of data to different requesters with different credit scores. As I explained before, credit score is the foundation of the trust-based nature of this platform. And we've received a payment from many of them. We just submitted data to grid parity, as I demonstrated, and we can send a reminder for payment. We can re-download the IPFS file. So now that we've submitted data to this data set, I think if we look at the update made on the researcher side, we'll get a better understanding of how the researcher pays the person who submitted the data to them and how it looks on their end now that they've received the data. So again, let's switch gears and head on back to the researcher view, the researcher perspective. Okay, so now that we're back to the researcher dashboard, we can go ahead and open our grid parity request for data. So as you can see here, we just received the data from user 1, 0xb9 dot dot dot. It's successfully been updated over here, and we can see the sender's credit score. We can download the file or pay the sender now. So now that we've received this data, we can just click on pay sender now, and there'll be an immediate pop-up of your MetaMask. So I'll just show you how a transaction works on MetaMask and how you can send the required amount to the sender, to the user who sent you the data. So let's just copy this address of the sender, open up MetaMask, create a transaction, and we want to send 0.01 Ether. 0.01 Ether. Let's click on next. Let's confirm the transaction to user 1. Okay, confirm the transaction, and it's been done. completer. Next one. And we just received the confirmation. So if you reload this page, we'll see an already paid sign coming up instead of this. So let's just do that. And you can see now it's been updated to already paid. And also, if you try to download the file before paying, you will not be allowed to do so. It has to have the status of already paid to allow you to proceed to download the data. So that's how it works on the researcher side. We've sent the payment to the user. We've gotten our data as well. We can download it. And yeah, that's basically a summary of this whole payment process. If we look at it from the user side, we can also see an update to your submitted data page saying that, okay, the grid parity request for data, the data that you submitted to that request has been paid for. So if we just head on over to the user side of it, the user your submitted data side, we can just look at that option. So if we reload this page, you can see, okay, it's already paid. So it's been confirmed on both sides that the data has been paid for. That's the entire transaction cycle. That's the entire cycle of how you submit data and how the researcher actually takes that data and uses that data to build their data set and ultimately to help them build their artificial intelligence model through that training data set.